Well, hello there. This is Drew from Flames the Phoenix Tarot card. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm actually going to do 6 pick a deck scenario for today. You can pick all of them, you can pick a couple of them. What I'm going to do is have chapters for each of the 6 different themes that I'm going to be doing today. So there's 6 themes I'm going to be using, and I'm going to share with you the deck cards that I'm going to be utilizing as well, so that you can kind of see ahead of time where you want to jump to, or you want to go back and forth into the video here today, whatever works best for you. So the first one I'm going to do is a past, present, future, how the journey is unfolding for you. So this is going to reveal your insights in your past, present, and future. I'm going to use the Hermetic deck that I've chosen for that. The second deck I'm going to be using today is Message from Our Spirit Guides. So I thought I would use the dragons for today, and that's to kind of see what your spirit guides are suggesting and wanting from you. The next one, we're closing in on Valentine's Day. So I thought, let's talk about what's blocking you and Single and Relationship Oracle deck. So seeing what love is on the horizon, what's coming next for you. The following one I'm going to do is Career and Abundance Check-In, because I know it's the new year and some people are kind of figuring out, well, what's going on. So this could be a great deck for you to utilize and see what's happening in maybe finances, career decision-making, or pathways to your success. The fifth round I'll do is Your Soul Purpose, Why Are You Here? I thought I would do Spirit Animals and the Archangel Animals as another option for us. And then finally, our Hidden Truths. What are we not seeing? So I thought our past lives would be a great opportunity to kind of see what's going on there. The decks have already been shuffled. I do read cards intuitively, so sometimes what the cards are saying to you might not be the same for me. This is a timeless reading, even though it is January of 2025. This might be something from your past that comes up, or present, or it could be something that we're looking at in your future as well. So let's see what's going on today. Past, present, future, the journey unfolding. Ooh, ooh. Got quite a few there. Ooh, there's another one. See, and I like when cards just fall into place for me. Life is usually pretty good that way. Thank you. All right, so let's see what's happening here. So this is past, present, future. So sometimes, look at that. Like these cards are kind of basically formulating what things are going on here for me. So on my left is my past, middle is the present, the future is what's having in store here. So if we look here to the left here, interesting just to start things with the Hierophant. So the Hierophant usually represents, again, I am intuitive, so this to me is telling me that we're just looking at traditional values, seeing what's going on, how are we looking at things, how are we looking at ourselves, and how are we showing up? And I feel like that's what's going on in terms of our past, is that we're kind of seeing, what's so important. I feel like oftentimes, I'm just trying to get things in the center here for you. There we go. Oh, there's a bit of a glare today. Oh, I can't fix the glare. So the first card is the Hierophant. So what I'm seeing here is that this is usually somebody who is often just wanting things to happen a certain way. This is forecasting that, one step should traditionally follow another. But then for the Foolish Man to show up as the next step here, it's kind of showing me that you're ready to kind of shake things up. It's almost as if you're ready to take a leap. And in that leap, this is also the Fool card for those of you who are familiar with Major Arcanas. This to me is looking at I think it's time to change something. And I'm almost getting how we view ourselves, because we're tired of how people are always assuming things about ourselves. That's what I'm kind of getting the feeling. It's like this here, it's like this is who I am, this is my routine. But you're like, it's not working for me. It's not keeping me happy. Let's see what's going on in your present. So Knight of Wands. So this is now a journey unfolding. So I feel like it's almost like you're creating new boundaries for yourself. You know what? It's not even new boundaries. Pardon me. It's not boundaries at all. You are removing boundaries. So there is a clean landscape that's happening here. And then to have the Empress, and then a card unseen. The Three of Wands reversed. So I said that a card unseen. And what that means to me is that it's something maybe you don't already know about yourself. And with the Three of Wands, it's almost like there's a journey that you're fearing to do. It's like, it's kind of like when we go outside of our shell or we get uncomfortable. Story of my life. It's like the comfort and the uncomfortable kind of intersect. And when that happens, it kind of pushes us away. And what I'm seeing here with the Three of Wands being reversed, it's almost like you're not ready to take that plunge yet, or that jump or leap of faith, which is where the foolish man is coming into play. But I feel like it's almost something that you've been planning on doing or manifesting for doing for a long period of time. And now it's kind of like, now's the time to do it. The Empress is somebody that is strong-minded, strong-willed, so that could very well be you. But look at here, the Three of Cups as the outcome here. Why I always love, and I really enjoy the imagery of these cards. It tells us that there's multiple options here for you, and it's also like, are you happy? So I ask that question to a lot of people. Are you happy? And they're like, I'm like, you're not. Because if you're telling me that you have to take a second to think about it, chances are you're not happy. So this here is saying there are multiple options and multiple solutions here for you. Now's a matter of time to figure out, are you ready? And, a part of me thinks yes, first and foremost, even though you might be second guessing and doubting yourself. I'm not, because with the Empress in the center and being its core, it's almost sharing with me right away that you are in a really good headspace. It's just a matter of getting through the what do I want to say? I feel like there's a part of you that almost turns around and is saying, I can't do this, I'm not ready, and it's almost self-deprecating as a result. But then you look around and you're like, but why am I even thinking that? It's like a self-saboteur. And I feel like this is where you're like, I'm ready to change. And it could even be that you stop doubting yourself. And the interesting part with the devil being in the future, it's almost unleashing a part of you. Like I already felt like when I said unleashing, I felt this like weight lifted from my shoulders. And I hope that the weight is lifted from your shoulders too, just based on what I'm seeing right here. It's almost as if your past is not working for you, but it served a purpose at the time. And I feel like this is like a level up scenario. So it's kind of like I always use Mario, Super Mario, and it's like you ate the mushroom and now you've grown as a result. And this is now you seeing a new perspective and seeing that your cups can be full with the right things. This is definitely self-discovery. This is definitely an emotional journey that you're putting yourself through. I see that, with the Three of Wands reversed, it's almost telling me that it's like, I want to do the journey, but the doubt is really casting an issue on you. And that self-saboteur, like I said earlier, I feel like that's coming through. But with the Knight of Wands, it's almost like you can push through. Like I'm getting like this, you have the momentum. It's just a matter of giving yourself that opportunity. And then with the Devil at the end, that's like, there is no boundaries. You can create what you want. This is a strength card. It is definitely saying that your passion, and I feel passion coming through with me right now, your passion will definitely result in something of an abundance. It's almost like you'll be attracting the right people and attracting the right vibes, the vibrations of the people that should be in your life. So doing a quick summary here of past, present, and future. Past, things are stable. It was like you needed that stability. And now it's like, okay, I'm over it. I'm ready to do a change. There's a bit of self-saboteur in me, but if I were to kind of persevere and push, like I'm getting this like push construct, the passion will come back, the energy, the drive, the ambition. It's almost like a new you will come up as a result. So that does that for the first round of tarot card deck readings, which is the past, present, and future, the journey unfolding. The next deck I'm going to be utilizing is Messages from Your Spirit Guides, which is going to be from Dragons. Dragons, rawr. So I've already shuffled the deck, so let's see what comes up here today for Messages from our Spirit Guides. feel like those three all need to come up because they were all kind of connecting with one another. So our spirit guides usually give us paths or energies to kind of work with. And I feel like right here, there's a bit of a circular motion with these three cards. And then these two cards here were kind of, at the top here, they're like, should I go? Should I not go? So it's almost as if it's like your spirit guides have some sort of path or purpose that we're going to be unfolding. So these three cards, just to kind of get things started, I liked how they just kind of flipped over. So for those of you that have watched some of my other videos, when the cards are laying down, they're like face down like these two. It's like you don't quite know what's going on, whereas these three are kind of awareness. Like you might be already aware of this. And the other neat part too is that when they're faced, they're straight up or reversed. It's kind of like they're giving additional messaging. What I think is interesting, it's like this is like a triforce over here. So we have what's first is the orange dragon, and if you know me, orange is my favorite color, and it's reversed. So it just says here brings soul, families, and communication together. But it was reversed. So I feel like there's something going on that the spirits want you to be aware of. I feel like you're not listening to yourself. I feel like health-wise, like not like I'm like run to the doctor, like I am not a medical practitioner, but I'm feeling like health-wise, you're running yourself low. Like your energy, your vibration might be a little bit lower than normal for yourself. And I feel like that's probably why this is communicating on a reverse. It's like, look at yourself. What are you doing? How are you showing up? How is your energy in those environments? And if you're struggling to kind of give true answers to it, my next question is, what are you doing about it? Over here is the green gold dragon from Sirius. It says, brings universal knowledge to your spiritual pathway. So learn about spiritual technology, be a transmitter of sacred knowledge. So ChatGPT, AI, is something that I find a lot of people are a little bit resistant to. But it also has some good information and it's very intuitive as well. So I'm wondering if you're not feeling well, if you're not utilizing tools, resources, are you actually getting the best of you? Like, are you utilizing what needs to be utilized? Are you finding that the information is coming to you swiftly? There's some universal wisdom that's out there that maybe it's just a matter of having that conversation with yourself and figuring out what it is that you want. The air dragon, and it says here, help rise above earthly matters. Again, it's intuitive. It's saying here that the spirit dragons here, the spirit guides, it's almost like there's a higher path for yourself. You know that this is not the routine that you're destined to be in. So what are you going to do about it? Are you gonna, communicate with yourself? Are you feeling lethargic? Are you feeling like you're getting constantly frustrated? Are you annoyed easily? And if you are annoyed easily, then what are we doing about it? Are you using knowledge as a power, or using it just as a fragment resource? Like you're like just kind of tossing it to the side, like, oh, it means nothing to me, so I'm not gonna worry or bother about it. But just with like how these cards are kind of laid together, it's like, okay, are you using your true path? Are you using your resources? And are you catching on that you're not meant to be doing this? Like I said earlier, like, are you kind of feeling sick or ill? Or are you running yourself down? Maybe it's time to revitalize and refresh yourself so that you can actually get a true you. Let's see what's going on over here. So the gold and silver violet flame dragon transmutes the old around you with wisdom and grace. So there's that. And then the golden orange dragon. So the other one was orange. And it's kind of interesting. There's quite a few gold going on here. And it says, expand your light from ascension. So if we look at these two cards, and this is the unknown, it's like saying to you, there is so much more to you than you might lead to believe. Like the golden orange dragon there, it's like expanding who you are. Who are you? What are you? What is it that excites you? And then almost finding that energy and bringing it into the play, bringing it into the mold. Like I feel like there's like a little bit of a disconnect, especially with what's happening here on the left side. It's like you could be doing so much more, having resources, having the right friends. Like, I almost get the fact that your spirits are saying, like, your spirit guides, the dragons are like, you could be doing so much more. All you have to do is take that first step. And then for those of you that watch the past, present, future, it was like that fool man. I love how cards kind of start intersecting over a while, where it was the foolish man. And it's like taking that leap. Are you taking the leap? Are you allowing yourself to jump right in? Are you allowing yourself to give into the world and saying, you know what? I'm going to let loose. I'm going to remove the stress, the anxiety, and just say whatever will be, que sera, sera. And I feel like that might actually give you a better perspective and a better energy as a result. So for those of you, this is for messages from your spirit guides. So figuring out what your spirit guides want you to know about your current path and purpose. I feel like they're basically saying, you have wings, why are you not flying? That would be how I would summarize this particular reading. So I'm going to close this reading here now. The next one, for those of you that are jumping in, hey, how's it going? We're going to do Love on the Horizon, what's coming next for you. I'm using this What's Blocking You Single and Relationship Oracle deck today. Let's see what's going on for singles and relationships. Ooh. I actually had some comments, private comments shared with me, and they're like, that's actually really cool how the cards just start coming out, even though you're not really doing anything different. You're just flicking the cards and seeing what comes out. And I'm like, yep, this is how the spirits work with me. So let's see what's going on for you here. So there looks like there's two sides of the story here based on how the cards kind of spit out. So there's this side and this side. So again, for those of you who are maybe just watching what's going on Love on the Horizon, what's coming next. So if the cards are face down, they're usually information you don't know. And then if the information is face up, that means it's something you already know. Let's start on the left-hand side. It is a general reading, and I do read cards intuitively. Past trauma, you need to take time for yourself to remember what's been going on. I feel like right away, I always, when I see this card, I think of Rapunzel, the movie Tangled from Disney. I'm a Disney person. I think a lot of people know that when they watch my shows, my recordings. So look at this. It's almost as if, like, for Rapunzel, she didn't know what she didn't know. And she didn't know that, she was really a princess. She didn't know she was abducted. So she had all of this trauma, and yet she just kept going. Like, it was just like, I'm going to keep going. I don't know what I don't know. So almost like an ignorance is bliss. But your past trauma could be actually going into your future relationships. So what are you doing to ensure that the best self you have is moving forward? And again, for those of you that may have already watched the messages from your spirit guides, the dragons, it was like, what are you doing to kind of push yourself forward, let your wings fly? And then for those of you that are watching the past, present, and future, there's a whole section there about, who you are and what that works for you. So I feel like just by looking at past trauma as the starting of your issue here, it's almost like there's like a bridge here that we need to cross. And it's not bad that you have trauma, or maybe you have bad ideations of what relationships should look like. So it's having that conversation, maybe talking to friends or family members. Contact me. I can always do a private reading and see what the spirits have in store, or what they believe to be true for yourself. Fated to be alone. You gave up on love because you think you are meant to be alone. It's not true. And I feel like that is a song that many people tend to sing. And it's so frustrating when I talk to people and they're like, well, that's it. I'm out. There's nobody else here for me in this world. I can't find somebody. And then I say, I ask them, and I do like a little fun, like, friendship exercise, not weightlifting, but like just a friendship exercise. And I'm like, well, what are you looking for? And they're like, well, I want somebody that's stable. I want somebody that, is successful. And I want somebody who is caring, or somebody who has time for me, or I want somebody who, you know, lives fairly close by, and you know, I want somebody who, you know, brings out the best in me. And then I'm like, okay. And I was like, are you welcome for me to give you some feedback? And a lot of my friends are like, well, you're going to give it to me anyways. Truth. That's facts. But then I turn around and I'm like, that's a lot of who you are as a person. So oftentimes, you know, what we see in ourselves, we want to see in others. And it's like, well, if you exist, if you are somebody who gives time, if you are somebody who is successful in their own right, somebody who, you know, is local because you live local because you're living with yourself, it's like, if you exist, then why wouldn't that other person exist for you as well? And this is kind of like that, whoa, never thought of that. And I'm like, you're right, you never did think of that. And that's probably why when you think of like relationships, are you strong in your own relationship with yourself? Are you taking time out? Are you going out, you know, for dinner with yourself? Like, are you doing these things that could very well help you spread your love and joy? And then people see that and it radiates to them or vibrates to them as well. Let's see what the world doesn't have here. Feeling unloved. You deserve someone who can emotionally support and love you fully. So this is what is unknown, and I feel like this is why you're struggling with yourself. Is that you are creating this, this aura is what I'm hearing. Like there's this bad energy, and it's not probably who you are. And that's probably as a result causing the conflict and the inner turmoil that's resulting in you probably not feeling like you are, feeling like you are meant to be alone, or that your past trauma is just resurfacing over and over again. Well, my suggestion and my honest feedback to you would be, are you taking time just to accept that you are probably very worthy of love? And if you are worthy of love, then what are you doing about it? Are, you know, I laugh because, you know, sometimes we don't realize the simple things that we can do to start sparking conversations or sparking that interest. And it's like, well, when was the last time you went out? Like, are you constantly at home? Like how is somebody going to find you unless you're on an app? And on the app, I find that it's like, actually, a lot of people, I joke and I'm like, well, usually when you know, I am currently single, is that I find that I treat the conversations like I'm talking to an AI until I physically meet the person. And at that point, it's like, well, how do I know if this is true, authentic conversation or not? Even though I might be authentic, are they being authentic? So as I said earlier, there's like a bridge here. So once we kind of work on us, which is this side, what's going on over here? Fear of loss. So this could very well be the trauma that we're talking about here. So it says here, you are afraid of losing someone, of being or being abandoned. Take a chance. So our guards, and look at that. See, this is why I love imagery on these cards. Look at the past trauma, all the lights that are happening here. And then the fear of loss is on the other side. So look at how you need to let go so that the fear doesn't stick with you. That would be how I'm seeing this. So if you let go of your trauma, if you let go and you deal with the feeling unloved, fated to be alone, look at that. The fear of loss will probably go, you know, it won't stick around. And I feel like that's why it's hovering, is because if you don't let it go, it's going to stick. So you need to let go of your trauma so that this goes away as a result. What's happening over here? Not committed. Always chasing or being chased, you must be willing to commit to one person. So I know there's a lot of EN, ethical non-monogamies, ENMs, that are in our relationships in our societies. And again, I am an LGBT. I identify as a gay male, and I know a lot of my friends who are in triads right now or polyamorous relationships, and it works for them. But what if it doesn't? And the other thing is that I shouldn't say what if it doesn't. It's what if you stop the communication, or what if it's only surface level, the relationship. Usually when we work with two people, the communication can be just as bad as talking with multiple people. Granted, totally accept that, totally agree with that. But the other reality too is that when you're in a triad, sometimes the relationship really needs to be checked in on. So not just with your primary, but also as a group. So why I'm saying this and why I'm focused in on that is because I know a lot of times that there can be some jealousy and animosity, especially with certain signs. Like I know Aries can be, Aries is like, yep, you don't even need to say no more. But the people who aren't Aries don't always understand that your passion could be something that could be difficult to deal with. Pisces, I'm a Pisces. I know as a Pisces, I would not always share my emotion or share it because I don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. But then my feelings are getting hurt as a result too. So this is now where, getting to understand who your partner is. And it's almost like we have a cheat book that we can use astrological signs, we can use numerology, we can use astrology to kind of figure out how to work with people, or you could just ask people and then turn around and say, are we fine? And if they say yes, well, what is making our relationship fine? So don't just deal with the surface level, peel back the onion so that it's not causing any further damage. And then I feel like with this not committed and fear of loss as a result, it's almost as if if this is taken care of on the left here, so past trauma, feeling unloved, and fated to be alone, then you could very well, I'm sorry, I'm really struggling with the lighting here today. I'm going to learn that for next time. But with having these three here, I feel like the fear of loss and the not committed could then actually be easily dealt with. So if you're spending time with yourself, likely this is not going to happen. But if you don't spend time on yourself, this is going to probably happen as a result. That does it there for the love on the horizon, what's coming next for you. The next set of deck I'm using is the A.E. Waite Tarot cards, and they're holographic. I love that they're holographic, but now that I'm thinking out loud that the lighting is causing a little bit of issue, hopefully this works out. So we're going to be talking about career and abundance. We're going to be checking about the finances, career decisions, and pathways to success. Let's see if that card wanted to come out. Ooh. Okay, those two cards. Did you see that? I saw that. They were like, whoa, we are going to come out and play. There we go. All right. So let's just see. I'm going to interpret the cards here for you. And again, for those of you who might just be checking in right at Career and Abundance, hey, how's it going? So I do read cards intuitively. Cards that are face down, so like this card right here would tell me that maybe it's something you don't know. It's also sometimes a decision card too, so you have a little bit of a fate decision as a result. Cards like this where you can actually see the image, I do apologize, I did mention just earlier that there's a bad reflection and it's a holographic image, so it causes a little bit of it, but mind you, look at, there's some nice color happening over here. So it's like, am I going to be okay with this? Am I not going to be okay with this? It's up to you. My readings are intuitive in nature, so I read the cards for how I'm seeing them, not necessarily for how they would be as a book version. So let's go out of here. So this is Career and Abundance. This is looking at finances, career decision-making, pathways to success. So if I turn over these cards, holy snappers, some really strong energy coming here. So balance, success, a little bit of a financial constraint is what I'm seeing automatically. Oh, pardon me, I didn't realize that the cards are not. So Seven of Cups reversed, that usually tells me that there might be a little bit of financial strain coming through, a little bit of insecurity about what's going on. Here, I'll go at it this way. Seven of Cups reversed. Sorry, Seven of Cups reversed. Temperance, that is face up. That's a major arcana card. The Sun card is also here as well. Just by looking at this, folks, again, general reading, I feel like there is a new path on your horizon. And why I do love working with these particular cards is that if you can see here, like I mentioned, Seven of Cups reversed, there's a bit of financial restraint that's happening. I don't necessarily see a loss of a job or loss of finances. If anything, I do see a bit of status quo. But what I think is really cool is if you look here, there's a path. There's a pathway that's over to the side here. So I'm going to do it this way. There you go. So if you look here, there is a path towards the sun, which is reaching fulfillment. So if we use these cups, that are currently, flipped over, and they're going to kind of wash into this water here. And the water is going to lead you to the sun. And the balancing here of the water as well. Look at that. Here's your sun. This is abundance. This is strong energy, strong vibes, vindication. This is like you finally hit the bullseye, the target. So for those of you that are maybe actively job searching, quiet quitting, this to me tells me that you are going to hit something that is good and happy. So I'm hearing really good vibes here, 100%, 100%. It's now just a matter of allowing the process to unfold. It's going to take, I want to say like 3 to 4 months. So depending on when you're watching this, it might be 3 to 4 months. It is January, so it might be 3 to 4 months from today. I can't give that guidance. The reason being is that when I'm looking at the sun, it's like you should know how long it's going to take. Not me, but you, how long it should take you to do it. So if you are actively job searching, then maybe you are actively going to find something. If you are being passive, it's passive. I feel like time is what is going to be the deciding factor, which obviously usually is. But it's also kind of showing me here that I'm getting like an energy vibe that I feel like you're burning out, or you feel a little bit exhausted. That's it. A little exhausted. Maybe not burnout, but exhausted. And it's like you could either keep going and there might be some fruit at the end of the finish line, but there's definitely like a curve that could very well give you a huge, huge win in the future as well. Let's go over here and look at this. So again, for those of you who are watching, you're like, that spit out hard. So this first is something we don't know. So let's look at that. Four of Wands, success in the journey, energy, drive, ambition, excitement. Like when I see the Four of Wands, it's like, I'm excited for you, and I'm not even there. So that is me being excited. But it's interesting here that the Devil and the Death card showed up. So I encourage you to take the time and go back to past, present, future, the journey unfolds. Because for those of you that are watching the general reading, this is very similar to what's happening before. So you're like, well, why watch it? Well, I think there's some good information there as well. But having the Devil and the Death card, it's like you're going to reborn, rejuvenate, and be passionate in what you're doing. Energized, fulfilled. This is like a sexy job for you. That's what I'm getting. Like, not like a sex worker. That's not what I'm meaning at all. But what I'm saying, it's like a job you've always wanted to hit. You've always been targeting. It's coming. It's coming. And I feel like here, like I said, 3 to 4 months, I feel like spring, summer, there's going to be some big changes, good changes on the horizon. Definitely something that is putting a lot of work or effort into. Like I with the Death card, like there's a lot of change happening underneath the horse here and the individual. And it's, look at that, the sun is peeking out on the side there as well, which tells me that the paths you're taking need to happen. So if you are doing a lot of grunt work, if you're doing stuff that you're like, I don't see myself doing this for long term, I get you. But what I also get too is that there's a lot of good fruit at the end here. So if you are eagerly, patiently waiting, which I don't want to use the word but the patience, but I feel like it's gonna work. It's gonna come out, and it's gonna be good, and it's gonna be energized, and you're gonna be happy, and it's just like you're like, oh, I want it to happen now, and I'm like, I do too. But this is telling me that things are gonna happen sooner if you put the effort in, later if you're not. But it looks like it's going to happen regardless as a result. So for those of you, this is the career and abundance check-in. Definitely something big on the horizon. Definitely there's a path that you're going to be able to take. That path is going to lead to some fruitful future for you. That was a bit of a tongue twister. All right, let's close off this one here. Thank you for those of you who are watching the career and abundance. The next one we're going to be doing is your soul purpose. Why are we here? I am using the Archangel Animal cards for today, so we can get some spirit animals in us and figure out what's going on. Let's do a check-in here to see what your soul purpose is. So again, I do read cards intuitively. they're just spinning out. Okay, take those. There we go, thank you. So we'll do a little check-in here to see what your life purpose is, spiritual path, any personal growth opportunities that might be coming in here for you. So I do read cards intuitively rather than what sometimes the cards actually mean. When I deal with spirit animals, sometimes they resonate more with you than with me. I have spirit animals. I know which ones are mine. So sometimes when I see them, I'm like, ooh, this might be meant for me. But I'm just looking here and it doesn't look like it's fully meant for me. But I think there's some surprises here. So the cards are very fixed. And what I mean by that is that I feel like the cards are like, this is a set path for certain people that are listening to today. And this path has been something that has been worked on for a while. I'm getting a lot of like bright energy. So I'm feeling this like light that is happening around you. And I feel like even maybe nature walks are on the horizon for some of you. And nature walks, I think, are so helpful. I get that, you know, some animals are not found in nature. Maybe they're more prevalent in like a zoo format. But I feel like many of you need to take that walk and just understand what's going on. The hyena is something that is actually I'm really gravitating to, and the dare to be different. I feel like for those of you who are watching all the chapters, that seems to be like a common theme on my end here, is that are you being different? Are you allowing yourself to hold a different light around yourself? This is definitely telling me that if you let go of what the world expects of you, there's going to be an abundance, and that's all the word. It's an abundance, and I feel like the hyena, somebody who naturally is daring to always be different. The panda being balanced, just like you can be different and be balanced. You can have that joy. I'm getting romantic as a result here too. It's almost as if you were to let yourself be your authentic self, the right people are going to start showing up. I almost feel like for some of you, and again, it's not a hit to you by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like for some of you, you create this faux, like false sense of who you are, and people are starting to catch on to it. It's almost like they see who you are. It's like you have like a cover. Like I feel like there's like an energy or something, and it's like, nope, you can't come in. You're not welcome. You haven't taken your shoes off yet. And I feel like with these two here, it's like if you were different, the right people are going to show up. And for those of you that might be looking for romance or something in the world of romance, this here is telling me that if you try different things, the right people are going to show up. For those of you that are looking for career changes, if you start looking beyond the box that you've been working with, it's going to show up. And I feel like this is meant for a lot of people, especially in what's going on in our world today, is that I think, you know, there's just so much information that if we could actually just be our authentic selves, more will come out. Gray squirrel, find new ways of solving problems. Guinea pig, do your part to illuminate the universe. I don't know what more of a message you need to have for today, but it feels to me like if you were to allow yourself to be different, you will have a different perspective. These cards were reversed, so I feel like if it was reversed, the gray squirrel would mean to me that maybe the problems keep surfacing because you're not looking at it through your lens, you're looking at it through other people's ways. So it does say here, find new ways of solving problems. Maybe when it's reversed, it's that you already know how to do it, but you're letting other people give you guidance. That's probably bad feedback or just bad. One of my favorite things that I learned a long time ago was, would you, the person that's giving you feedback, would you go to them typically for that information anyways? So if they're in a bad relationship and they're giving you relationship advice, do you believe that that would be the right person to give you relationship advice? If they're not, financially savvy and you're asking them about financial advice, do you think that's the right thing to do? So it kind of gives you that idea that, are you getting the right feedback, or are you using bad feedback, which is a thing. Guinea pigs, do your part to illuminate the universe. It's reversed. It's almost as if you are not doing it to begin with. Are you bringing your best self out? Are you actually energized? Are you in the right place? I feel like with your soul purpose, it's like if you were to find the right job, you would probably be so happy. If you were in the right relationship, so happy. I feel like some of you are not in the right space. You're not in the right you're not in the right chapter. And I feel like some of you are just getting burnt out because you are not realizing where you're meant to be in this world, and it's causing angst. It's like you're waking up in the morning and you're like, is this my life? Is this what I chose? No, I didn't. And I honestly think just how this is, and this dare to be different, and stay focused, and it these spirit animals are basically trying to like shake you and be like, why are you allowing this to happen? This is not who you were, and this is not what you're meant to be. And I honestly, I'm getting this like full on like this rush. It's like, it's time for you to stop, and I'm gonna shake you, and I'm gonna get you reset. That's what I'm hearing here, especially the hyena. The hyena, I'm seeing that the third eye in that hyena. Just in case you didn't see it, look at this right here. There's a third eye, and it's like, I know that you could do better. So are you doing better? That is that for the soul's purpose, why you are here. The last reading for today is Hidden Truths, What You Are Not Seeing. I thought, makes sense to use past lives, right? I think it makes sense. So let's see what's going on here. Subconscious blocks, any surprises, anything that we have to cover. It is a general reading for today, so let's see what we got. See, the cards are already flipping out here. They're like, yep. See, and this is why, and for those of you who watched the other ones, welcome. We got 2 cards. Sometimes 2 cards can mean tons of things, and sometimes it may not mean a whole lot. So first and off, if this is the first time you're watching this, hey, how's it going? So it is a general reading. If the cards are face down, like this card here, it usually means something you don't know. Face up means that it's something you do know. If it's horizontally, it means sometimes a decision. So in dealing with things about hidden truths and what we're not seeing, maybe there's a hidden decision that we don't know, but it's going to lead towards transportation. So let's see here. Monk or nun. This is a decision card here. What it typically looks like for me is that this is spiritual. So for those of you that have hidden truths, a monk or nun means to me that, are you actually more clairvoyant? Do you have a 5th sense that you're not utilizing? Are you, ooh, hiccup, validation. Whew. That's always validation. That's validation in my world. Are you using your talents? So some of us work in tons of occupations that intuition is a blessing, because then you can kind of look at things and be like, that's not how I see it. That's not how I'm reading it. And I almost believe right away that many of you have a lot of spiritual clairvoyance, maybe hearing a voice every now and then of a past family member giving you feedback or guidance. But are you using it? Are you taking the time to truly absorb and allow that information to come in? I know for me, I've always pushed back a lot of my intuitiveness. And just the other day, I was driving, and this car ahead of me was not, I'm going to use diplomatic words, they were not driving safely, maybe a little erratic, a little crazy. And I thought in my head, you're going to get a speeding ticket, you better watch out. And within 30, 45 seconds, there was a hidden squad car, and the person got pulled over, and I'm sure it was due to erratic driving. And I kind of chuckled because I was like, that's a random thought to get into my head. Like, you're gonna get a speeding ticket? Like, again, I'm driving. It's not like I'm looking at other people and, how are they driving? What are they doing? And when I think of the monk or nun, I think of, are you looking at your blessings? Are you looking at what gifts you have and can share with the world? Are you utilizing things in a way that it makes you happy? Like, do you feel happy? Do you feel like you are part of, the bigger world? What are you doing with that? What are you doing with your gifts? And some people don't, and that's okay. It's sad when it happens, and I'm sure many of you are like, yeah, there's a lot of people in my circle that could be doing amazing things, they just choose not to. But with this here and any subconscious blocks, transportation being the second card here, and again, this is what I always joke, because sometimes people are like, that's a lot of cards, it's going to take forever, and I'm like, no, sometimes it's not. But sometimes when it's like one card or two cards or three cards, it's like there's a lot happening here and you don't even realize it. So with this with the transportation card here, I feel like when I see that, are you going to do anything about it? And if anything, from the five other readings that I've done today, there's a lot of themes that are showing up. And now it's a question to you, are you going to utilize those themes? Are you going to use your gifts? Are you going to listen to our ancestors? Are you going to, if you are more religious, are you going to lead a different path or walk a different world or utilize your gifts so that they're actually manifesting? I just totally got like a pat on the side here, and I was like, who is that? It's just me. So I feel for those of you that are watching this and listening, and I truly believe that many of you are like, you know what, you're not wrong. And based on seeing this here in transportation, it's, where is that going to go? Where is that going to lead you? Not necessarily travel and back vacation. It's more so, are you using your gifts, and are you giving it the right momentum that it needs and it deserves? And in doing so, I feel like that will give such a new perspective, a new idea, a new challenge for yourself. And there's so much out there in terms of literature. If you're a little bit timid of ChatGPT, you can always type it in and be like, hey, what's my spirit? Like, what kind of spirit guidance can you offer, or is there any literature on it? For those of you that are astrological followers, you can find your sun, moon, and rising and what that means to you. And then you can actually, because I've done this recently, ask questions about, my date of birth. What does that mean? What does, my astrological sign mean? What does it mean, my numerology? And then learning about that and realizing how much of a gift that information is. I know it's kind of like a personality assessment in a sense. It's like, oh, okay, well, you're just going to, capture me in with this group of people. But if you use like the Chinese zodiac sign, if you're using astrological signs, if you're using numerology, it starts to triangulate where you're at in life. And there are going to be some things where you're like, nope, that's not me. Nope, that's not me. And that's okay. But there's going to be a lot of things that are going to resonate with you. I am a leap year. I'm a leap year baby. And one of the things that I'm learning, well, I kind of already knew, but more validation verification, is that I have a lot of very strong intuition, and I can work between different worlds because my birthday isn't in the world every year. And I thought that was very interesting because I do have, I do believe I have a heightened sense of intuition. And I call it the no BS clause, because there are times when I'm like, nope, I don't agree with you. And it's because my intuition is just like, there's something wrong here. So I guess for me, from me to you, it's, are you using your gifts? Are you allowing yourself, the monk or a nun, to actually see who you are spiritually. I'm not saying religious, I'm saying spiritually. And if you are religious, then religious. So, what are you using to connect, promote your higher self, and have that connection move forward? That does that with me. So, all of the readings here are done for today. Please like, subscribe. I'm also going to attach this to the different playlists that I've created on Flames of the Phoenix Tarot so that you have ways of kind of jumping around within maybe your zodiac sign and seeing, your astrological sign and seeing what's going on. So that does it with me. I wish you all the best and I will chat with you soon. Bye-bye.